Sometimes, the world shows us just how cruel it can be. And when it does, it's almost always the poor who suffer the most. This is the story of Manaz Akhtar, a mother from Pakistan whose pain will shake your soul. It's a story about love, loss, cruelty, and the kind of strength only a mother can have. That morning seemed ordinary. Manaz was working quietly inside the house, while her little boy, just a year and a half old, played outside with his sister. But in the blink of an eye, tragedy struck. The family she worked for got into their car to leave, and didn't notice the small child in front of the tires. The engine started, the wheels rolled, and before anyone could scream, her son was gone. His tiny body crushed, his insides spilling out onto the ground. When Manaz heard that sound, that faint, final cry, she ran outside. Her heart broke the moment she saw him. But before she could even hold her baby one last time, her employers stopped her. They ordered her not to touch the body. Instead, they said, "Clean the car tires. We're getting late." For a moment, she just stared at them, hoping she'd heard wrong. But their faces were cold, unfeeling, unmoved, so she said nothing. She went inside, brought a small pot of water, and began to wash the tires. Her hands trembled. Her tears fell onto the blood-stained rubber. Those tires weren't dirty with mud. They were dirty with her child's blood. And half of what washed away wasn't washed with water but with her tears. When the owners were satisfied, they left. Before driving off, one of them said coldly, "Clean up the mess, bury the body, and come back within a week. We can't run this house without you." She stood there, silent. Her heart screamed questions no one would ever answer. Am I not human? Was my son's life worth nothing? If your child had died like this, would you still worry about your car tires? After they left, Manaz laid a sheet on the floor. She placed a plastic sheet over it. Then, with trembling hands, she placed her baby's body and the torn remains together. She wrapped him carefully, so no one could tell what she was carrying. But when she looked around, she realized she didn't even have enough money to get home. No ambulance, no help, no fare. She sat there beside her baby's body, crying, silently, because even now, she feared her employers might come back and shout at her for making noise. When she couldn't cry anymore, she stood up. She lifted the bundle onto her head, held her little daughter's hand, and locked the house door behind her. They began to walk. On the way, her daughter asked softly, "Mama, if we walk, won't it take 3 days to reach home?" Her mother couldn't answer. Her eyes flooded again. And in her pain, she slapped the child lightly, not out of anger, but to stop her from speaking, because every word hurt too much. Manaz wasn't always this broken. She had once lived a peaceful life in Shakwal, with her husband and 2 children. Her husband was kind, the kind of man who helped others even when he had nothing. When her father was dying years ago, it was her husband who had borrowed money to pay for his treatment, and later spent years repaying that debt. When her husband fell ill with stomach cancer, he begged her to stop spending money on him. "I won't survive," he said. "Save it for our children." But she refused. "I can't watch you suffer," she cried. "You once saved my father's life. Let me take care of you until your last breath." And she did, until he finally passed away, leaving her once again buried in debt. With no other choice, Manaz moved to Karachi to work as a maid. She took her 2 children, hoping to earn enough to rebuild their lives. She had no idea she would soon lose everything again. After the accident, after that horrible day, she somehow found her way to the train station. When the ticket collector came to check her ticket, she quietly said, "I don't have one." And then she told him the whole story. He didn't believe her until she unwrapped the bundle. When he saw the lifeless body of that little child, he broke down crying. He gave her all the money in his pocket, bought her a ticket, and arranged a ride from the next station to her village. He apologized again and again, begging her to forgive him, even though he wasn't the one who had wronged her. But Manaz didn't say a word. Her heart had gone silent. When she reached her village, she went straight to the mosque. She handed her baby's body to the imam and told him everything. The imam organized the burial immediately. The villagers helped too, paying for the funeral, comforting her, standing by her side. Then the imam contacted the rich family whose car had crushed the boy. He warned them, either forgive her debts or face the law for the child's death. Fearing disgrace, they forgave the debt, but they couldn't return what they had taken, a mother's soul. Today, Minaz still lives in that same village. People say she's half-crazed, lost somewhere between pain and memory. When she goes out with her daughter, she ties a rope to the girl's wrist and holds the other end tightly. "Children don't understand," she says softly. "They come under cars." Her daughter is grown now, but Minaz still sees her as that fragile child she could lose any moment. Sometimes, when she gets angry or cries, her daughter just hugs her tightly, and those who know the story can't help but cry too. This is not just the story of one woman. It's the story of our society, a society where a poor mother can lose her child, and the rich care more about their car tires than the life crushed beneath them. If you're blessed with wealth, with comfort, with safety, remember this story, because the poor feel pain too. Their children are just as human as yours. So please, be kind, be human. This was the story of Minaz Akhtar, a mother whose tears washed away more than blood. They washed away what little faith she had left in humanity.